Hey, Commanders Classified Podcast Nation, we are back in the building. We are here this week to talk to you about how we would fix the Washington Commanders. It can be done. It can be done, people, but it's going to take a lot. So we're going to jump right in. Fellas, I got a question for you before we get into the actual fixes. With how the season has started, does it make you like second guess the off season that we had, some of the moves we've made, things like that? Eric, I'm going to start with you with that question.
Yeah, I think edge rusher should have been more of a priority in the offseason. I think they were just trying to go with. I know what they were doing. They were really worried about beating Philadelphia, and they just added a bunch of big, stout, run stuffing type defensive linemen, which makes a lot of sense when you play in this division. But you do play, 15 other teams, and we may very well do great against the Eagles, but the other teams are curb stomping us right now. So yeah, I think edge rushers should have been a priority, and maybe drafting a wide receiver a little earlier would have come in handy now that all of our wide receivers are invalid. So yeah, definitely, hindsight is 50-50 or whatever they say. And mine's even better because I'm wearing glasses. So yeah, we should have done a lot more in the offseason to address the things that are terrible now.
So in your opinion, Peters went too hard to try to beat the Eagles and sort of left some other holes to be filled and problems to be solved because he was chasing the Eagles?
It's what it seems like to me. I don't think that's kind of very simplistic view of it, but I'm actually kind of a simpleton, so I'll go with that. Certainly, everybody seemed to think that, besides, the people in that building seemed to think that edge rusher was a big priority. And they went out and got Dietrich Wise, who was a fine player, but he's injured now. They re-up Dorrance Armstrong, fine player, but he's injured now. Didn't really, they went out and at the end of the offseason and signed Von Miller, who was a fine player in 2015, but in 2025, he's going to give you 5 or 6 good reps a game, So there's definitely more could have been done in that department. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, because they really went hard on the trenches, and that's where the Eagles really shine. But by the time we get to play the Eagles, it might not even matter. I think what the mistake that Peters made was, I think he undervalued the folks that we had in the building last year a little bit, right? And maybe some of the continuity. Like, I do think Jeremy Chin not being here and having Will Harris. Was Will Harris an upgrade over Jeremy Chin?
Will
I don't
Harris
think
was
so.
great. I think he
He
was. He
wasn't
was
that,
great for
he
the couple
wasn't
of weeks that he
great.
was here.
He was
I mean,
okay.
the secondary has fallen off a cliff since he left. I think it was a great pickup. He just broke his leg, which you can't really control. But no, I had no complaints about replacing Jeremy Chin with Will Harris, other than
I think
the
Chin
whole
was
broken leg
fine.
thing puts
Will Harris,
damper on things.
his grade was pretty mediocre, 65, PFF wise. And then like from a receiver
That's for
perspective,
nerds.
and I think that McCaffrey will come along. I want to talk about McCaffrey again because I have some thoughts on him. Jalen Lane, he is very athletic. His catch ratio percentage is not good. It's like sub 50%. And he had a drop in that game against the Cowboys too, on a critical third down, I believe, or maybe it was second down.
Who didn't have a drop in that game?
I mean, well, that's a part of the problem, right? And like,
I dropped 2 passes, so
just watching it, right?
just
But I
watching
think
it.
Lane has a lot of potential, but he has a long way to go, I think, before he's really like a true contributing wide receiver, which is what you expect from a 4th round pick too, by the way. McCaffrey, what I want to say about McCaffrey is I cannot figure this out with McCaffrey. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. They're not giving him targets. You know what I'm saying? And like McCaffrey, when he gets the ball, he's effective when the ball gets to him and he catches it. But he just is not accumulating targets. And then I'm trying to, again, haven't seen the all 22, and everybody's like, he's so open. And then the question I can only ask is, well, then is he where he's supposed to be? Right. And within all of those concepts, because like, how does Robbie Chosen get targets off the rip? And then you have Chris Moore getting targets. And then you have Jalen Lane outpaces him in targets. I don't understand what it is about McCaffrey, I would love to know. Now, probably never will, but there's something that is impeding him from getting targets, even when he's on the field and potentially getting open. And I can only assume that it's relative to either where he's at when the route is being run, his timing on the route, or like a lot of folks say he's not getting open, but then you listen to like what's his name, Logan Paulson. And he's like he is getting open, but it's sometimes I don't know. That's the most
I feel
confusing
like
thing.
he's just not the first read. Like he's just never. He's not the one or the two. He's like the third guy down the list as far as when you're looking for targets. So they just never get to the progression to make it to him.
Like, yeah, is Robbie chosen?
Chosen probably. They put him. They put him out at that. I guess the Z receiver spot, where chosen is what he is. He's he caught everything that was thrown to him, so credit there. But he just gives you nothing after the catch. He never really was much after the catch. But yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. Maybe McCaffrey's just not. They don't think he's ready to play that lead receiver role yet, so he's just getting the scraps in the passing game. But you said, he makes plays. He makes plays when he gets the ball.
But one target.
Maybe don't try to jump over two people on kickoff returns because that doesn't end well. But
that was crazy. That was insane. But yeah, and I do think that like the lack of continuity in the receiver room, and I know Diami drops a lot of passes, and he really hasn't taken off in Jacksonville. I think Oz in Chicago has been a little bit better than Diami has. Maybe we undervalued Oz, but Oz dropped passes last year, if you remember, right?
He dropped passes in our game.
He did. He just does. Yeah. I don't know,
man. Like 3 of them joints.
Yeah, he's basically Deebo was a big upgrade over him, other than not being on the field last week. But
yeah. And then Ertz, and that's the thing. When you put it all together, it sounds like it should work because these are upgrades, right? But I think Ertz is older. Ertz has moments, but we got to find a replacement for Ertz next year. Love Ertz, but it's time. And that replacement doesn't seem to be Ben Sinnott either. All right,
yeah, this team really
Mike, I'm going to throw it to you.
Oh, sorry. This team really struggles with yards after the catch right now. That's the big thing. And with Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin out, they're going to continue to. And if you're not throwing to McCaffrey, but like Ertz is not a yards after catch guy anymore. He's going to catch it and pretty much get tackled where he's at or get 2 steps down the road. Same with like Robbie Chosen, Chris Moore. When he catches the ball, he generally doesn't. He had a little catch and run last week, but he was wide open. So yeah, yards after catch is a big issue for this team right now, and Jalen Lane doesn't always catch it. So got work to do in that department.
Yep. Agreed. Mike, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on the offseason in hindsight?
I mean, the plan worked. I mean, or it was working, or it should have worked. I don't have a problem with the players that were brought in. Dedrick Wise was looking nice before he got injured. The same with Will Jones, like we discussed already. The same with Deebo. Tunzel's looking nice. Even the draft picks that we had this season, from Connerly to Amos and Bill, they have flashed. They have shown pieces of not pieces. They have shown flashes of okay. Like they have been okay during the regular season so far. I'm not trying to like jump the gun and like change topics or whatever, but it's the coaching. The team is unsound. The fundamentals, trash. The schemes, trash. Preparation, trash. Like it's not the players, and I'm not going to keep sitting here and saying, "Oh, if this player did this better, or that player did this better," when I'm basically rerunning the same season that happened in 2024. The only difference is that Jayden Daniels is a Superman this year. Like we're having the same problems: player dropping passes, penalties, getting down early in games. And they ain't even say nothing about the defense yet. That's the real problem right here. We have a defensive coordinator who was highly touted coming from Green Bay and Dallas. We have a defensive coordinator who had good defenses in Atlanta, Dallas, and Seattle. And for 27 games, you can't tell me that they have done anything to prove that they're good at calling defenses. And that's the problem. And that's why I'm so frustrated. Because we have this offense that even on Sunday with no receivers, missing the starting running back in Eckler, offensive lineman doesn't have continuity or whatever. and still somehow they scored 22 points. Only problem is that 22 points right now, that gets you like 16th in the league right now in points per game on defense. Out of the 27 games that Quinn and Witt has been here, the opposing defense has scored over 22 points 16 times. Like, it's the defense, it's fundamentals, it's them being unsound, it's them not being prepared. This all falls on coaching. It's the coaches. The coaches.
Well,
so do you think coaching's a problem, Mike?
is it possibly coaching?
I was holding that in for like the whole, like, since after the game. I'm sick of it.
I want to say this too. Like, I think the offseason preparation was really lax. And we heard about it from the beat reporters, and we brushed it off like a lot of people did. And it was like, something doesn't look right. Guys don't seem to be locked in, and yada, yada, yada. And lo and behold, they were onto something. And nobody wants to hear that about their team in July and August, right? But it shows up. It matters. I think if Quinn could go back in time, I think he'd make that offseason program much more difficult. I think they were riding the high of going to the NFC Championship game, and they thought all they had to do was stay healthy, and they'd be right back there again, right? Fighting with the Eagles because they got better at the run, and they just really took it for granted that the rest of the league evolves too. All right, let's get into our plans to fix this Commanders team. Eric?
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Well, hey, Siri's ready to go. But
okay.
Eric, with I want to start with you and your plan to fix this Commanders team, be it players, coaching. What are you doing? How are you solving this problem to get us back right again?
Okay, so we're going to start with the offense because the plan's pretty simple on offense, and that's just get healthy. You can't roll out there with practice squad level receivers and expect to win. I predicted a shootout last week before we knew that all the receivers were hurt. But you can't have a shootout if there's no bullets, right? We had no, and once I found out, the receivers were injured, I changed my tune very quickly on that game. Knew it was going to be bad because you just can't keep up with that. And, Dallas had basically no trouble stopping the run because they didn't have to worry about the passing game. So get healthy on offense, because when you had, even, without Terry McLaurin, things were still working. You were still scoring 27 points pretty much every week. At least you put 41 on the Raiders, 27 in a loss to Atlanta, 27 in a win against the Chargers. You're scoring points until everybody got hurt. So get healthy on offense. I don't think it's broken. Just go out there and do your thing with the right pieces, and I think you're going to be just fine. Defensively, that's a whole other story. I think it's a mindset change from the coaching staff, number one. You've got to be more aggressive, no more sitting back and rushing 4 and dropping, 7 guys into coverage. You're going to have to, especially now that you've lost probably your 2 best pass rushers in Dorrance Armstrong and Dietrich Wise. You're going to have to start sending blitzes. I mean, Frankie Louvu was a heat-seeking missile last year getting after the quarterback. I have barely seen him blitz this year. You're going to have to start doing that. You're going to have to start getting in receivers' faces, playing press man, and going after the quarterback. And if you get beat, you get beat, but at least you're getting beat aggressive and not sitting back playing soft and still getting torched for, 45-yard, giving up a 95-yard drive with a minute and a half left in the half because you're playing soft. So that's my fix for the defense. And then find a way to get these defensive backs to communicate with each other. I think Will Harris was very important to that because the secondary really fell off in the weeks after since he's been injured. Guys are just Lattimore's obviously been struggling all year, something going on there. But these guys don't, I think I heard Kime say on his podcast yesterday that Lattimore, on that play that he got beat down the sideline by George Pickens. First of all, he didn't get beat. He was about as tight a coverage as you could have. It was just a perfect throw and a great catch. But from what Kime said is the rest of the secondary was playing soft and he was right up on Pickens. And he's, that speaks to a communication issue. And we saw the issues with motion early this year. The defensive backs aren't on the same page. So you've got to get one voice in the room to get everybody on the same page and to know where they're going to be. You're going to have some hard conversations with some people to make that happen, I think. And you're going to have to find a way to communicate what you want to do to these players to get things back in shape because this defense right now, the only way this team is gonna succeed moving forward is to have the offense score a lot of points, and you can't really do that if everybody's hurt. So get healthy on offense and get aggressive on defense. Those are my two fixes for this team.
I like it. Yeah, and if we had a magic health wand, we'd be right in there. Now, Terry McLaurin's supposed to be practicing this week, as is Deebo. So the offense might be a little bit more potent. The games early in the season where you talked about us putting up some points, that was mainly Deebo, right? Deebo on end rounds and then Deebo as a receiver. I don't think Terry McLaurin has a touchdown yet this year, if I'm not mistaken.
He definitely
Deebo's the only wide receiver with
touchdown.
more than 10 catches. Yeah, Deebo's the only wide receiver on the team with more than 10 catches.
Yeah.
So there's
And
your problem.
McLaurin definitely has a touchdown. The NFL just took it away from him.
Fair enough.
And they hurt his leg on it.
Right.
Yeah.
That was 1,000% a touchdown. Never going to forget that.
Well, also stop getting caught at the one, right? But anyway, all right, Mike, give me your plan for fixing the Commanders, like in short order, because we got to get this thing turned around. What do you got, man?
Pray. No, I'm
I
joking.
knew that was coming.
Like I said earlier in my rant, they got to get more sound. They have to get more discipline on offense. I would say that too, because they have a lot of false starts and crucial moments of the game too. Early on, the false starts have been killing them. Holding definitely has been killing them. Turnovers, like my goodness, I never would have thought that would be an issue with this team, but lo and behold, they've been turning the ball over. So if they can become more sound on defense, more on offense, more disciplined on offense and protect the ball, like E said, just get a bit more healthy, they'll be fine. The offense is fine. Like I have no problems with the offense. Could they be better? Sure. But they're off the top of my head, what they're averaging, 23 a game, 22 a game, something like that. Like the offense, even with Daniels missing games and the offensive line still finding their continuity. The offense is okay. The offense has produced with two different quarterbacks, multiple running backs, multiple receivers. The offense is okay. It's fine. It's the defense that really needs fixing. And outside of maybe playing McGee more, putting Sanders still back on the outside at cornerback, having Lattimore come in as a still or whatever, that's about it. But honestly, outside of that, I don't think there's much you can do with the defense this year. Like, you don't have a pass rush. Cornerbacks aren't playing sound defense, especially when the ball is in the air. So other than the coaches finding ways to scheme up players and positions or whatnot, I don't think the defense is going to get much better. And a firing is coming in the offseason. Like, I'm predicting that right now because after 27 games, the defense looks worse. It looks worse. And remember, in week 2, they gave up like 33 points to the Bengals.
Right.
Somehow it's gotten worse since week 2 of the 2024 season. And that's why I'm pissed, man.
Yeah. If you remember in years past when our defense has struggled, you know how we fixed it? Running the ball more. We did that with the Heineke scenario.
Just kept the ball away from him.
Yep. We did that with like the 2012 team. We did it, I think, in 2015. Like there were some years where it was like our defense is horrible. And by the way, our defense has been horrible for way too long. This organization's got to commit to getting that better. But
hold up, though. That's not true. And I'm so glad you brought that up. Everybody keeps comparing Joe Witt Jr. to Jack Del Rio. No. Del Rio had 2 top 5 defenses while he was here in Washington. We can talk about why they were top 5 all we want. The fact of the matter is that he had 2 top 5 defenses while he was here in DC.
In yardage.
Yardage wise. That's how we usually rank defenses.
I mean, it is, but there's a lot of nuance in that yardage, though.
Joe Witt's more like Joe Barry. That's more comparable. I think. Yeah, but the poor communication, the late, getting calls in, and the general like disorganization of the defense. That looks like a Joe Barry defense more
I
so than a Del Rio
guarantee
defense.
you, Del Rio would have this defense cooking because it wasn't the scheme that was Del Rio problem. The players kind of just suck. Like I think it's the opposite. I think his scheme was okay. The players were just like really bad. Right now, I think the players are much better than what Del Rio was running back in the day. Maybe the defensive line was better because we had all those draft picks on the line. But I mean, yeah, I just feel like Joe Witt Jr. ain't it, bro. Like at all.
Was Del Rio the one with the cover zero problem, and he just loved to run cover zero? Or who was that? Which coordinator was that?
That was Haslett, I think. That
Was
might have
it?
been Haslett.
We just go cover zero on 3rd and like 13 or something
But I
like that.
remember the reason I say Haslett because I'm thinking about the Texans game when I think was it Reed Doughty covering Andre Johnson 1-on-1 on like 4th and 10 or something like that. Like it was
Yeah, that
crazy.
makes sense.
But yeah, I think it was Haslett. I really think it was Haslett.
All right. So you guys know me as a reasonable guy. I have, pretty good perspective. Here's my plan to fix the Commanders. And I think it's actually is really feasible, and a few small changes can go a really long way. All right. You talked about scheme. I got a couple scheme adjustments for you, and really overall offensive operation adjustments. First of which is we like to sub late, and then we're snapping the ball with 2 seconds on the play clock because you got to give the defense time to sub too.
I hate that.
So the refs are standing there by the center, holding the snap from happening because we got to give them a chance to sub also. Can we please stop doing that? That drives me nuts, right? That those are operational. You guys notice that too?
Yep.
I don't mean to cut you off. I thought we were the only team that did that because I don't remember seeing that much like in the game.
Yeah.
But I was watching. I forgot who I was watching. I think it was last week, maybe the Rams. I think on Thursday night, and I saw it more than once, and I was like, "Oh, I guess it's not a Washington thing."
Yeah.
Get those subs in on time. Get them early.
Yep.
Like hockey.
All right. Otherwise, I think I like to see more crossing routes in this offense. We don't have players that can win one-on-one, but a great way to beat the defense without having to beat them like with your route running is to put them in motion, right? Like coming across the formation, and that confuses the defense. The Patriots did it for years without players that were like necessarily great one-on-one route runners. They did it out of the slot a lot. Julian Edelman, folks like that. Picks and rub routes, those kinds of things work if you don't get penalties on offense. But that type of thing, I don't see that a lot in Cliff's offense. What I also don't see a lot of is slants in Cliff's offense. I don't understand why we don't see that more. It can be a dangerous play, but it can also be a highly effective play. What I see a lot now is Jayden holding the ball, trying to find somebody deep, right? Deep in routes, fade routes down the sidelines, things like that. I want to see a little bit more diversity in the attack, and primarily just with underneath routes that get the receiver open immediately, running crossing routes. All right. Also, more traditional screens to the running back. I feel like we have screens, but they're traditionally to the wide receiver. And okay, cool. I would love to see us go with like early, or late 90s screens to the running back. So the running back's just running into the flat. We're letting the pass rush in, and then we're letting McNichols get the ball and just see what he can get, right? We don't do a ton of those. All right, let's talk personnel, starting with the offense. First of all, Jayden Daniels, I'm about ready to let that knee brace go. On there's runs to the outside where you can see it's very clearly robbing him of some of his speed, and so he's not picking up the chunk yardage you got. I know it's a risk, but you gotta go, pedal to the metal for the rest of the season. So let's take that off, see what happens there. Running back wise, I love Marcu Mariota's potential. I think Chris Rodriguez might be more effective right now with the offensive line and the game plan that we're trying to do. I want to see Chris Rodriguez get the bulk of the carries, and then Marcu Mariota the change of pace back, and then McNichols on third down. That's what I want to see. I forgot to mention, I also want to put Jayden under center more. I think this shotgun pistol thing is cool sometimes, most of the time, but mix it up a little bit, will you? From a receiver perspective, and these are all moves we can make, right? We're not signing anybody from the outside. I think when Terry is healthy and Deebo is back, it will be a significant difference. I do believe that. And then you have Chris Moore as your wide receiver 3, which is not so bad, right? You also have Jalen Lane, who, again, I think has done well, but I don't think he's ready to be a wide receiver 3. And then Luke McCaffrey in that mystery box there. But if you have Deebo and Terry and Chris Moore, okay, I can live with that for right now, where most of the targets going to Terry. But I got to see Terry be the old Terry. In the first couple of weeks, Terry wasn't getting any looks hardly.
What
and I know
happens
he was
when you
just
miss
coming
camp?
off of
You
That's
miss all
exactly
camp,
right.
you lose that flow with the quarterback, and you get a soft tissue injury. So
and you're rusty, and your routes aren't explosive, and you got to work yourself
don't
back,
miss camp, kids. That's the moral of the story.
especially if
pay
you're under
cut.
contract. But anyway, from a tight end perspective, I like Ertz. You guys know that, but I would only use Ertz on short, like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, things like that. I got to see what we have in Senate at this point as a receiver, right? When he was in, where was he? Kansas State, I think it was, or TCU, one of those two same color schemes. At Kansas State, like he was a pretty athletic tight end receiving the football. I need to see what he has. I give him more reps, and if he can't do it, put Yankoff in there as long as he's not tripping people on kick returns. Okay,
Him and Yankoff
he got away with it.
more. Yeah, but him and Yankoff, based on what I saw from him in college, they play well in open space, and I feel like with this offense, like they should be getting the ball.
Right.
No reason they shouldn't be getting the ball.
I don't understand it. Offensive line, I'm not going to do too much there. I may look at Connerly, and is there somebody else we can put in for him? But I know that might be detrimental to his growth. He has not been great. I mean, he has just not been great by any measure. He has some moments, but he's not been great. Is it enough for me to bench him away? No, but I'm keeping an eye on that for a few more weeks. And if we start to turn it around, but he continues to be a problem, I would think about that. All right, defensively, going back to our scheme and our process here. First of all, Wagner doesn't see the field on 3rd downs for me, second half of the year. I think I'm not the guy that's like, hey, Jordan McGee is that answer, the end all be all, but we got to see something because Wagner in space and Wagner against the pass is not really getting it done. We don't have a lot of options at our end positions because I think we have a total of 3 ends on IR right now. And so we got to do what we got to do. But I think I'm bringing more pressure with support from linebacker blitzes, etc. Deron Payne's been good. Kinlaw's been good. I mean, Preston Smith, come on, bro. Von Miller is like your Sam linebacker in this defense, I guess. That can't happen for me anymore. I watched Von Miller, and I think he's effective sometimes. Jacob Martin in that game against Dallas appeared to be a lot more effective.
Got robbed on that penalty too. That was not a face mask.
100%. That was
terrible call.
Bogus.
Terrible call.
I know it was holding still on the play, but come on. Come on.
Yep. I would use Jacob Martin more as a starter and Von Miller as a specialist in passing situations. I'm starting Darnell Savage at safety over Jeremy Reeves. Love Reeves as a special teams player. He's got to go. Back to special teams. Whew, Quan Martin, man. I don't even know what to say at this point. I really don't.
I know what to say.
I don't know what to say.
They said that he was going to have an all-pro Pro Bowl season. That's what they said. The media said this.
That's what you said.
No, I didn't say that.
Let's go back. Let's run the tape. I specifically remember Mike from Southwest saying all-pro Quan Martin.
Not me.
Sounds familiar.
Definitely not me.
I haven't made any reels yet, but I think I'm going to make one.
I've been skeptical of the secondary since they said it was going to be a strength, and I'm like, okay, if y'all say so, but I don't know. And so far, after 7 games, it's the weakness of the team. There's nowhere near the strength.
Yeah, not at all. I'm I'm going to say, I don't know what Tyler Owens is because they never give us a chance to find out. I have no idea. But Quan is playing bad enough that I would consider that move right now. And then say, if it don't work, it don't work. But he's playing
They're
that
not
poorly.
They're not
Lattimore
gonna
is getting
bench him.
benched. Lattimore's getting benched. I'm putting Mikey Sanders on the outside again where he belongs, and he was effective. And then I'm putting Noah I in the slot, and we're just going to figure it out. I don't care if he can play slot, if he's a natural slot. I'm putting him there, and we're going to ride that wave because it can't be much worse. And then Matt Gay, I'm going out and finding me another kicker. He's getting on my nerves already. That's what I would do. But these are all reasonable moves because that's what you have available to you on your roster. You can do these things, and I guarantee you're going to have a different outcome. Now, my expectation is it's going to be a better outcome. Can't be much worse with the defense, but you got to be bold enough to make those moves, and I think they can do it. So that would be my plan. If you have a plan, leave it in the comment section or hit us up on Twitter at DeclassifiedWFT, at Mike from Southwest, at Eric CDP. You will not get a response from that Twitter handle, but you can send it there anyway.
Tweet away.
Tweet away.
At me.
All right. So we have some very constructive and creative ways to fix this team. Eric, what do you think they will actually do in the next couple of weeks?
Nothing. I think you're going to see more soft defense and just hope to outscore teams. They haven't changed things yet. As Mike said, it's been 27 games and they're still doing the same stuff. So I don't see it changing anytime soon. I think that this is just what we're going to get. And, maybe we'll see some changes in the offseason. But I don't think that things are there's going to be a lot of drastic differences. Hopefully the team gets a little healthier, which was my suggestion on offense. But defensively, I think, we're going to get what we're going to get because that's just what Joe Witt likes to do. I had very high hopes for Joe Witt, but he's starting to give me Greg Minuski vibes. So we're going to wait to see what happens here. But yeah, I don't expect too much to change defensively.
That's disappointing. Mike,
I'm sorry.
You? You think they're going to make any moves?
No. And then we're hitting the Kansas City to play Andy Reid, and I'm like, it's going to be slaughter. Like, no changes, nothing. They're going to, and that's the one thing that concerned me about Dan Quinn when we hired him. He sticks to the old guard. He rides it out, and whatever happens, happens. And he kept doing that in Atlanta until a firing happened. So hopefully he has a wake-up call, and, we'll go from there. But I don't know, bro. History saying, I don't know.
Who was his Atlanta DC? Was it Mike Nolan that he kept around? No, who
it was Raheem Morris, wasn't it?
No, Raheem Morris was on the offensive side of the ball for them initially.
Oh, that's right.
Later,
he was the play caller the defensive play caller. Quinn was
not initially
in Atlanta.
Yeah, Quinn was in Atlanta. Yes, you're right.
Oh yeah. No, that's not who it is. That's who it is now. I was trying to think of who it was.
Richard something, I think. I can't. Richard Smith. I don't remember. But anyway, all right, Eric, give me your pick for the Kansas City game. We didn't talk about it all, but
this is ugly. Yeah. I said be aggressive on defense. This is probably not the week to try that. Mahomes just murders teams that blitz him. And they've got – it's funny. I have a fantasy league team, and I have 2 Kansas City receivers, and I'm trying to figure out how to play both of them this week. I've got Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, and I think they're both going to get 40 points.
Both of them.
Spagnuolo is a pretty solid defensive coordinator. I think they'll have some answers for Cliff's offense. Washington, if Terry and Deebo are back, I think that opens things up. But I can't. There's no way I can pick Washington to win a Monday night road game at Kansas City the way this defense has been playing. So I'm going to take Kansas City in a laugher. I'll go 45-27 Kansas City.
Wow, look at the 27. Nick Bolton's a pretty good linebacker, man. I don't know.
Nick Bolton is nice.
He's nice. Mike, what's your prediction for this Kansas City game?
Man, I don't think I've seen us beat Kansas City since I've been alive. it's been that bad. I think they may have beaten them one time in franchise history or something crazy like that. But all I know is when Washington plays the Chiefs, it's not a good time. And with the way they've been playing the last couple of weeks, heading to Kansas City on Monday night, like this is a laugher. I can't even hit y'all with the Mike from Southwest special this week, 24-20, because they're not holding Kansas City to 24 points. Are you kidding me? 37-13 Kansas City.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to have like 180 yards rushing too, for some reason, just because why not?
Right. I'm going to be the believer in this room here. I'm going to say Monday Night Football, we go to Kansas City, 35-32 Commanders. How we do it, I don't really know, man. But you know what? We're going to have some folks healthy, winging a prayer. We're going to figure this thing out, and we're going to beat them. We're going to beat them, and we're going to get our season turned around. Of course, then we go face Seattle the week after, who's like just offensively unstoppable. The defense is good too. All right. Well, that's our prediction. Don't forget to put your predictions in the comment section. We appreciate all who do. Commanders Declassified Podcast. We appreciate you. Go Commanders, and we'll catch you on the flip side. We are out of here. Peace.